Good morning. Lovely to have all of you on the call. Really excited about this morning, actually. We kind of want to discuss unlocking the opportunity within gift cards, and I'm really happy that there's a few Toggle customers on today. There will be some examples, live examples given from current Toggle customers, but also we have the lovely Andre on the webinar. And Andre is one of our professionals. So we recently kind of released a segment of Toggle in itself called the Professionals Programme. And the Professionals Programme is us using our voice and our knowledge, but also in conjunction with amazing super users of the platform. And Andre is one of those amazing agencies. He runs Upside London, so is here to kind of give his piece of the pie and give examples of who's he worked with, and you've got lots of different amazing companies that you've worked with, Andre, such as Wagamama's, Côte. So you're going to give a few examples of how they've smashed their gift card sales in the past. And I think without further ado, I'll let you kick things off, Andre.
Thank you. Great intro, Holly. So I've started thinking about this because I think one of the challenges for lots of people is that they have a gift card store on their website, but what they do is they just put it there and hope for the best and maybe sell some cards around Christmas, and that's probably about all they do. But I think there's loads more opportunity around gift card particularly. I would like to give a few stats. The gift card market is growing at such a pace. Globally, it's worth over 470 billion. In the UK and Ireland, is now worth over 10 billion pounds. There's some interesting stats in here that sort of blew my mind. One was around that B2C, which is what we all do, selling a gift card on Christmas, Black Friday, or the odd birthday. That's actually, in the UK, only 39% of the gift card market. There's a whole other piece as well, which is the B2B world of people selling your gift card on your behalf. And I think there's so many opportunities around that. And we're going to talk about some of that today. Digital seems to be leading the way with 63% of the share, but there's this growth in that now as well at 26.5% year-on-year growth, 25 to 24. Physical declining a little bit, but there is such demand and interest in buying gift cards as a whole market. The bit that I start to get more excited about is when you start to dig in to who is buying the gift cards and who they're buying for. The interesting bit is that this stat came out of 63% of people who are receiving the gift cards are new to your brand. I call this like the gateway, because if you think about trying to get hold, as a marketer, I always think about how do you get hold of new customers and get them through your door. Well, getting people to buy on your behalf and give it to somebody as a way of referring your brand to them is so powerful. And particularly the second stat, which is that 22% of the people who get given a gift card become regular customers. So you're all thinking, lots of people spending a lot of money and time on doing loyalty right now. Well, if you want some loyal customers, there's a huge opportunity to get the gateway of gift cards to attract those people and get them into your businesses. And I just love that idea that you can, from not much extra work, sweat this channel a bit harder, and you get loads more loyal people coming back to you. There's so many more gifting occasions now as well. I'm going to talk about that more as we go by, but I think that's why, part of the reason why this is in growth. Couple more stats for you. I love these ones. If you're in the hospitality business right now, you're probably not seeing 40% like-for-like growth. There are the odd example that might be, but most aren't, and they're having a much tougher time. But the gift card market in food and beverage is in growth by 40% year on year, and it still just keeps on growing. It just blows my mind that there's so much interest in people buying gift card, different ways of people buying, people doing budgeting differently and finding experiences for people to buy for. But that growth just keeps on rolling. And the average spend year on year is in growth as well at 15%. I always think about, a hospitality gift card, people spend like 20 quid on that. That's been growing steadily over the years. And the average F&B gift card value now across the whole UK is at £44. I was thinking, oh, well, that means that there are still some people buying the £20 gift card and the £10 gift card, but lots of people are buying the 50s and bigger as well, because they're thinking about opportunities to buy for friends, for family, for other occasions, and for other experiences as well. And so it wraps it all into being a much bigger experience that you can sell through your gift card program. I mentioned it a little bit earlier around the B2B market. I just think that there's so much to be had in terms of getting into B2B. So 61% of all revenue in the whole market is coming from these B2B channels now. When I started doing this years ago, somebody started talking about B2B, and I started thinking, what's that? You got to go and you got to sell to a corporate, business in the city, and is that what that is? Well, there's a whole world of B2B that you probably don't even know about. I mean, I don't know about all of them, but I work now with a partner who helps me get to 300 different global distribution partners. So from the likes of selling employee benefits, I'll explain what some of these means, what mean in a minute, but all these different categories of trying to get into some of these companies who are going to sell your gift card on your behalf, and for not much extra work for you, give you an extra revenue channel. So there's things like employee benefits, where the company will put on their website for all their managers to give their team members a gift card at Christmas or on their birthday. Well, if you want to be one of the brands that's listed in all these companies, because one of these companies will then sell your gift card on your behalf, and it basically gives you the chance of that gift card being given to somebody who is being gifted that as a Christmas present from their company. Similar with reward and recognition, there is a bunch of businesses who will help you do some of that stuff. There are cashback businesses, which is not right for everybody, because that's about some of that's about discounting. But there's also some other places, and we're going to talk about choice products in a minute. There's some other things like cash out, where you exchange your loyalty points for gift cards, and there's a whole world of stuff where people are exchanging their share options and dividends and Bitcoin for gift cards as well. Which all this stuff, I didn't know anything about this a few years ago, but there's a huge market there, and it's an opportunity. I'll talk about choice products now, because I think that this is a really easy win for a lot of people. If you've been to a supermarket and you've seen the pegs of gift cards, some of those are branded individual gift cards, but some of them are products you can buy, or gift cards you can buy from there, which you can spend in a number of different places. Years ago, you used to have things like Love to Shop and the High Street Voucher. Those still exist in some form, and there's something called One for All or the Lifestyle Card. Those exist now, and essentially you just have to be one of the brands that's on those platforms that people will think about when they're gifting it to somebody. Oh, you can choose what you want, and let's say an auntie buys it for their niece or nephew, and that niece or nephew then can decide one might be into Lego, whereas one loves going out to pubs and restaurants, and therefore they can choose the brands they want to go to from that multi-choice card. What I start thinking gets interesting is there's an easy option for most people who are on Toggle to be able, and actually for people who are not on Toggle, to jump in to a multi-choice card, because this is one that Toggle run now. Isn't that right, Holly?
Yeah, so we established the Foodie Favourites card last year. We're actually in Tesco and John Lewis right now. So it's in collaboration with Black Coat Network and One for All. Anybody can come on this card. You actually don't even need to be a Toggle customer. So the card works a little bit like a payment method, just like a credit card, and we don't need to integrate with your EPOS, anything like that. We just send you an invoice once every month, and basically it's just an absolutely amazing way to expand your horizons in terms of that redemption piece. Of course, we're going to follow up with everything on these slides anyway, anything that we talk about in terms of case studies, things like the Foodie Favourites. So we will send you more information, and if you want to get on board, it's literally zero work. But yeah, it's a great way to maximize opportunity in the Toggle world.
This is great, and this is the kind of thing that I did when I was growing my gift card programs that I'll talk about in a minute. But finding ways to be in more places. I read a book years ago called How Brands Grow by Byron Sharp, if anybody's ever read that. It talks about, one of the things I took away from that book is this great thing in there that says, if you want to grow your brand, be seen in more places. I think principally at the time it was talking about if you're like a shampoo, or if you're selling washing detergent, you want to be on more shelves in supermarkets. But the same applies now in the digital world. You need to be in more places to be seen, to get a chance of getting people to buy your brand, try your brand, gift your brand, receive it as a referral, and therefore you've got way more chance of getting that A, revenue, but B, more importantly, long-term customers who want to keep coming back to you.
Absolutely.
There's an interesting thing that's been going on with gift cards, and that I think it mirrors a little bit of like what's happening in America right now, because some of the American gift card market is way more advanced than the UK, but the people are actually buying gift cards for themselves, and that actually accounts for 35% of purchases globally now. People are getting way more interested in buying their gift card for budgeting reasons, or for reasons that they just want to have that particular brand in their wallet for a later time. It just blew my mind when I started to see 35% of people are buying for themselves. And you see, and if you've got a Toggle store, this is one of the options that's already built into the e-com flow of you can gift for somebody else, or you can press the button of myself, you can gift to yourself. I think this is just one of those things that keeps on growing, and one to keep on the radar. Holly, you're seeing some of this stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think from my experience, even as a consumer, aside from working at Toggle, having something on your web shop where you just have to buy it for yourself, it does happen. I fall victim of this every single year. 6 by Nico, they are with Toggle, but actually in the same breath, I would be buying it anyway. 6 by Nico have an added value option every single year. And it is 6-course tasting menu with matching wines, and it would have been 175, 200 quid, but actually you can buy it for 100 quid or 175 pounds with an aperitif, and so on and so forth. It's something that I literally travel, because I don't have a one in Newcastle. I travel to Leeds for it every year. I'm absolutely invested in these kind of products, and they use our promotional feature, the added value feature. A couple of other kind of venues doing this who absolutely smashed it last year are the Botanist. They had an added value promotion where you could buy as little as £5, but you could buy literally the maximum was 1,000, and they would just match whatever you bought. And the amount of people that bought this for themselves, because it was a restricted validity gift card, so you could buy a gift card for £300, you get £600 to spend. You could only use it in January. So obviously everybody's skint in January. I know that because my birthday is the 8th of Jan, and I find it really hard to get people out. But also just hospitality falls off a cliff. So not only are you securing footfall and making sure that you've got a really busy January, you have people actually excited about the fact that they're going to get that 50% off basically, and you don't have to do the blanket offer. You can secure that revenue before people even come into your venue. And yeah, a lot of people kind of buy that for themselves as a little bit of a an enjoy January for themselves. So it's really good. And, the fact that you can actually opt for buying for somebody else on Toggle as opposed to buying for myself, it just means that you can add it straight to Apple and Google Wallet, and off you go, and you can enjoy the goods.
Very good. Notice how Holly's dropped her birthday in there, so everyone now knows what to buy her at Christmas time and into January to get her a gift.
I'll put my email in the chat after this.
Very good. All right, so that actually nicely leads us on to how Black Friday has been growing over the last few years. And one of the things that I prompt people to do is get planned early on Black Friday. Have you got your offer sorted? Do you know what you're doing for Black Friday? I think there's an interesting thing here in that there's been a trend over the last few years, obviously, to do some discounting around Black Friday. But actually, I think the trend is the most successful now is more on the added value side. Is that right, Holly?
Yeah, I think so. I think the added value side is really, really good. even the Secret Santa stuff, if you're going to allow people to come onto your venue and buy a gift card and they say they've got £10 for Secret Santa, they could buy this and actually they could look really generous and still have a fiver to spend. So it's just making sure that, you have maximum opportunity. But the thing to remember when you're strategizing, especially with Toggle and online gifting, is make sure that your promotional features, so all of your promotional comms, anything going out from your CRM, anything going on your socials, it's advertised as Black Friday, but let's make sure that the actual gift card itself that lives on your web shop doesn't mention Black Friday, because we don't want the end consumer to see that if it's being gifted to them. Just so food for thought there on that one. But things like this are just amazing. They're just low-hanging fruit that everybody should be doing.
Yeah, I love this, and I love the idea of actually having a Secret Santa and Christmas setup cards already in your Black Friday shop, so that you can get the opportunity to sell some of these things through. Particularly, I think, as well, as if you're having to buy Secret Santa around that time of year, you want to you've been looking for bargains for yourself, but also you want to gift that to somebody else in the next couple of weeks as the Christmas parties all hit in the first couple of weeks of December. Great. Okay, so I'll give a few examples now of some of the things that I've done over the years to try and really grow the gift card programs in businesses. So people who don't know, I worked at Wagamama for a few years, and I put the gift card program into there, and we took it from a 300k program to an over £3 million program over about 4 years. The things that we did to make that work were, one, have a great online gift shop. So that was actually turning the digital presence into one that was slick and actually worked and talked to all the right systems and get that basics in place, which is what a business like Toggle does for you. I went away and secured listings in the major supermarkets. I did that through a partner, but effectively getting the Wagamama card in front of lots of shoppers by having the pegs in all of the supermarkets, the Tesco's, the Sainsbury's, etc. And anywhere that there's an opportunity to sell a gift card, we make sure we were on all those pegs. That's a bit of a challenge to get some of those pegs, because you need to be a certain size and a recognised brand. But the opportunity was there with our singular brand then. But now it opens up, because you can jump onto the multi-choice cards and you can still get into these gift card malls. The next thing I did was build a B2B sales arm, and particularly about working with a partner who could help me get to the right people and the right businesses that could sell the card on my behalf while I was sleeping, effectively, because then all the things were set up in terms of the amount of a commission that I was paying, the kind of places I wanted to be seen in, the framework for how people would buy. So if you do discounts on bulk, all those kind of things could all be set up in the background. And we just built that as a into the platform, and then away they go and they start selling for you. And that includes this working with incentive and employee benefits channels as well, and making sure that we were just there as one of the brands that was considered when people are gifting in employee benefits and employee rewards. You want to be on all of those places. I did the similar kind of thing at Côte, and we rebuilt the online store. We with Toggle, and worked hard to get the UX right. We spent a lot of time on getting the listings back in for those gift card malls in all of the supermarkets, and then did the same things with the B2B and the incentive channels to try and maximize that revenue stream there. And in a shorter space of time, I was only there for 3 years, but in about 2 years there, we got that revenue to over £2 million. So that is just simple ways of getting your head around where the revenue comes from and how to maximize some of that revenue through some of these channels that you might not have thought about before. You might still be in box one of just get the online store live and looking nice. This next bit, I often talk to people in finance about this, about breakage. What breakage is basically, let's say somebody never redeems your gift card. They get gifted it, they put it in a pocket or a drawer, and they forget about it, and therefore at the end of the expiration date, all of that money then comes back to the brand, and the finance people get really excited because they go, yeah, it's 100% GP, isn't that great, with loads of money. I think that is the wrong way to think about this. I think that the problem that you want to try and fix is getting people into your businesses. Why? Because you know that, one, if you get them in, you're going to give them a great time, and they've got a much better chance of coming back. But the other bit, and this is the sell I give to a lot of the CFOs now, is you realise if you get people in, people spend more than the value on the card, and they spend on average 50% more than the value on the card, because they treat that card value that they've been given like it's free money. Like they are just thinking, oh, well, I've been given that, that's free, I can afford to have the glasses of champagne on top. And so they spend more when they're there. It just feels like there's two easy wins here, but there's a bit of a mindset change that needs to go on with businesses. Case in point, I had somebody literally a few weeks ago to come up to me and said, I'm really excited, I've got my breakage up to 25%. And I said, are you mad? What are you thinking about? Just try and think about chasing the customer lifetime value. Think about chasing that loyalty. That's way more valuable and important than chasing a bit of short-term profit. You agreeing, Holly? What were you on this? Oh, you're on mute, Holly.
Sorry. Yeah, I do. I think that looking at it a little bit like a loyalty, you know, a repeat visit customer is really important in this case. So obviously, yes, you can cash in with that free money, but you'll never get a return visit from that. You know, you're never going to get the uplift on that gift card. And it just almost goes to waste, to be honest. I think a customer that we have right now are doing this kind of thing really, really well. So they have a promotional offer on that lasted about 2 months, where you could buy a gift card, get a certain amount added value onto the gift card when they bought it. The validity was January and February, but they actually were able to then segment their audience at the end of February for customers that hadn't redeemed the gift card that they had bought. And through their CRM, they then sent an email out to say, hi, we can see that you actually haven't redeemed the gift card that you spent some money on. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend it for a month. You know, we really want to see you in the venue enjoying our lovely food and drinks. And this is exactly what you should be doing, because that will turn into a repeat visit. They might have been gifted that gift card. You know, about 60% of people are introduced to your brand through a gift card. So just keeping that in mind and just making sure that it's literally a sales lead for you to convert. And I've no doubt, obviously, all your businesses are amazing and will convert it. So just making sure that we're definitely making sure that those people are coming into the venues. It's really, really important.
Very good. And that leads me on nicely into asking you, have you got a redemption strategy built into your business? And are you thinking about things like sending reminder emails when it's close to the expiration date, so that you can try and get those people in? Offering short extensions. Could you send, like Holly said, an email out to say, you know, we'll give you an extra month if you come and spend it? Finding ways to try and incentivize people to get people back into your business, because you know that if you get them, you've got a much better chance of getting them to come back. I mean, one business, I think we were talking about the other day, connects their CRM through through the toggle system to be able to understand who's new, who's VIP, who's lapsed, and so you're getting much better understanding of who those people are. And if you've got somebody who's a VIP and you've just let their gift card expire, I think they're probably not going to be too happy with you, or they've got a chance of being unhappy with you. So you've got to try and win those people and make sure you're looking after them. Yeah,
I think just to add on to that as well, you know, if you guys do have the CRM that speaks to a toggle redemption, or you're, you know, able to actually track that customer coming in and redeeming the card, you know, have an automated journey that's set up to say, you know, it was amazing to see you, and just make sure that that is then going to be a lifelong customer, and it doesn't just stop at that redemption piece. It's so important.
Great. Okay, so the next thing I talk about generally is don't just try and sell cash. Too many shops I see are online stores are just showing buy a £10 card, buy a £20 card. The opportunity for growth is in experiences. And there's so much you can do with your toggle shop, which are things like, I mean, it's just cash, right? But you can wrap it up in so many different ways. You can sell it as merchandise, you can sell it as experiences, you can sell it as tickets, you can sell it as experiences, lots of different ways to be able to put your shop together to be able to make the most of it and actually give people the chance to buy for different occasions where they don't want to show. I know if I'm buying for some people, I don't necessarily want them to know how much I've spent on them, but I want them to know that they're having a nice meal out on me. So there are ways to be able to do some of this stuff, but you've got to square that away internally about how much value you're putting onto the card. But at the same time, selling the experiences is where a lot of the growth is coming from. And if you're not doing that yet, then have a look at how you do that now. I'll show some good examples in a minute, but I'll also talk about when you're setting up your gift card store, have you built cards for, let's say, all of these occasions that are on screen now? Mother's Day, Father's Day. So last year on Toggle, £4.5 million went through for Mother's Day. Last year, £1.3 million went through for Father's Day. The stat that I love in here is that £250,000 went through on the day of Father's Day. So lots of last minute gifting. People forgotten it's Father's Day and think, oh, I've got to get something for Dad. And so opportunity. So it's not too late. Father's Day next week, not too late for you if you haven't done already to build a Father's Day gift card into your web store and get some revenue through on that, even on the day, and build that into your emails that are coming out next week. So many other occasions now that are growing, from graduation to new student to birthday, anniversaries, the kind of expected, but date night, wedding, thank you cards, so many opportunities to try and have a card which will particularly suit those occasions, also work for search, and also be able to put into your marketing plan so that you've got things to talk about all year long rather than just that Black Friday to Christmas window. A couple of good examples I like are that I've seen out there, a few here. So the Côte business has things like champagne breakfast for two. The Brewhouse and Kitchen business has masterclasses where you can do a rum masterclass, a beer tasting masterclass, a brewer experience. And these are all just gift cards, but they're wrapped up in different ways to make it feel more like an experience and way more ways for you to be able to get to new customers. Business here doing selling hotel rooms and a stay with dinner and wine at their hotel room. Another business doing ticketing, selling tickets to gigs and events that they've got on. The gift card store can do so many more things than just do the traditional, I've bought my friend a £20 voucher at Christmas. If you wrap it up in some of these ways, then you're guaranteed to get hold of more people and sell more and put more revenue through your stores. This bit I think is really interesting. A few years ago, when I put physical cards in to Wagamama and Côte, I had to do a few things. I had to do the physical cards which go into restaurant. I had to do the physical card that went onto the gift card malls inside supermarkets, and I had to have quite a high minimum order quantity of buying those cards. The physical plastic, it actually turned out to, in the end, we moved to a card stock. But putting those cards into those places has a lot of work, a lot of lead time, a lot of print runs and costs associated with it. There's a new way of doing some of that stuff now, and I'd sort of almost written off physical because it's in decline and it only works for the big brands. But there's a new way of doing some of this now, and I got pretty excited about this the other week when I started seeing it, which is a print-on-demand solution that Toggle have built around gift cards, which is working really well for Hickories and Bills. Holly, tell us a bit about it if you mind.
Yeah, so for Toggle customers that we have on the call, we have Toggle Plus, which is inclusive of digital and a physical option from your website. We call that on demand because it's printed on demand, the physical option. But we also introduced, in the last year really, a greetings card, which is basically a card that you pop on the mantelpiece. But it's this one here, the Hickory Celebration card, the very middle bottom, and you can pop out the gift card from the card, but the card stays on your mantelpiece. So actually Hickories now, they have changed their on-demand option on their website, the A4 piece of, curated paper and an envelope, to this greetings card. And they just have that all year round now. And it's really amazing. So they have two options. They have a happy birthday, and then they have a celebratory one, which just covers all sorts of kind of celebrations. It's just a winner, this. I think it's really good, even to have the on-demand print and a greetings card that you have 5 different designs of. You could tap into a graduation option, a happy birthday option, Mother's Day option, Father's Day, just like Andre said with the occasions there, and then a Christmas one as well, maybe. And they just rotate throughout the year, and it's just, optimization for your gifting. But I do think having the physical cards in venue as well just really taps into a market that doesn't really belong on the internet. You know, I get gifted a gift card every single year from my grandparents, and they would not go online and buy it. They go into the shop. They know I love it. And it's just, whether, you know, it doesn't matter what age it is, but it's just a market that opens up more opportunities to have that full circle moment of gift cards in venue, online, and then also the digital option for people who are buying for themselves, but also people who are just very, very digital first.
Yeah, it's great. I still think there's opportunities with some physical, particularly because, yeah, Holly's right. There's some people out there who want to physically hand you a card at Christmas or on your birthday, and so having the card is actually really helpful. But having as a greetings card as well, great, love that option. So there are things out there which you can do and access relatively quickly that will and cheaply to be able to get hold of doing gift cards in different ways as well. Okay, great. So I'm starting to wrap up a little bit here, but I think there's so much opportunity out there with gift cards, particularly this B2B world. I think that most brands aren't having even a look at that, and that's an opportunity to be able to get stuck into. I think having the conversation around breakage with your teams and your CFO is something you just have to do. I had an MD in the last year who was completely against putting any redemption email out to say your card is expiring, and I had to have an interesting conversation with them. There's opportunities, loads of opportunities all over the place. Things I help people with are on the right hand side. There are things like, well, yeah, what's your current setup like? Do you need help with getting that organized in a better way? Do you need help to talk to the right B2B partners? How do you think about your online distribution, your retail distribution, and also that redemption strategy piece, and having somebody in the room who can help with some of those conversations? So if you need any of that kind of help, then I can definitely jump in and give you that. Okay. Checklist. So this is one slide that I think you might be worth taking back and thinking, right, I've got all these things sorted. It's probably this. So in terms of your gift card shop, your store online, are you ready for Black Friday and Christmas? Have you got your offers agreed? Have you set your store up? How are you going to promote it? Have you just got some of those plans in place? If you haven't, now's the right time to start thinking about that. Have you thought about selling experiences, and have you added those all year round occasions to be able to have your shop, talk to people all the right times of the year, and get hold of those people who are only looking for experiences rather than just the cash cards? Start thinking about B2B, from the multi-choice products like the Foodie Favourites and to the wider market, but speak to people who can help you on that. Educate your teams on breakage. I've mentioned it a few times now, but the long-term customer loyalty, I think, is more important, and get your redemption strategy in place. And then also consider how you might add physical cards to your shop, and if there's an opportunity there to have those greeting cards or to have other cards that you can sell and mail out, then that becomes another way of getting more customers. Okay. And that's about it, apart from some questions. Yeah, if anybody's got any questions, feel free to raise a hand and we'll see where you're at.
Yeah. Thank you, Andre. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat, or just feel free to kind of ask them. I actually am going to ask you a few questions, Andre, just to kind of deep dive into a little bit of what we've spoken about today, just for everybody, I suppose, rounding things up really. I think if people are going to take away some key priorities for today that are just non-negotiables and really easy to achieve, what would you say the key things would be?
Yeah, I mean, your easiest to achieve, because it's going to take you a couple of hours, is building your online store to have more occasions built in it. It's so easy to do that. You can do that literally in an afternoon, because all you need is some pictures of what with a birthday message on, or an anniversary, or a date night, or Mother's Day or Father's Day. Building those, really simple, but have some experiences. Have the conversations about, could we sell some other experiences? Could we sell meals for two? Could we sell an experience? You might already have some of these experiences live, like a cocktail masterclass or a tasting menu. If you've got some of those things, then why aren't they in your gift card store? How can you get those things live in your gift card store as soon as possible? I mean, I know you asked me one thing, I've said three now. So the third bit is, start having that conversation around B2B. There's so much money out there in B2B, particularly around getting your card into all these places that you'd probably never heard of before. That's a really easy win once you get that set up, because once they're in, it means that the money just comes in and you don't have to do anything. So yeah, so there's a few things there, but I think those are those things I tend to focus on mostly with people.
Yeah, nice. I've got another one for you. So you mentioned occasions. What would you say, so kind of deep diving into the occasions, like, Father's Day, Christmas, happy birthdays, graduations, how can you convert those occasions, and kind of what times are the best to do those, and what would you say if you were going to kind of deep dive into the strategy of that? How would you convert?
Yeah, I think one, you've got to build it into your marketing plan and not just leave it as a last minute thing. So that means having email plan, social plan, and having it being talked about in the business of, what are you actually offering and when, so that your teams in restaurant or in pub or your venue can actually say to people, oh, if you've whilst they're serving someone, oh, if you've forgotten about Father's Day, you can buy a gift card. It's on the store, it's on there. The bit that I always remind myself about is that in my Wagamama and Côte days, we would see significant sales coming through on the day of the event, like we talked about with Father's Day earlier on. But on Christmas Day morning, we saw a spike in gift card sales, because there's always people who forget to buy for somebody who's turned up, or there's somebody that they suddenly feel that they didn't buy enough for them and they need to buy a bit more. And so having a way to make sure that people know that you're available for selling that stuff. So that might be an email that goes out, timing those emails to the evening before or the morning of on Father's Day. That's a great opportunity, because people probably wake up Father's Day morning and think, oh, we haven't done anything right. We'll take them for a roast. We'll buy them a gift card. So those opportunities to try and get hold of some sales are there and worth having and worth jumping on. But yeah, don't be afraid of sending something out on the day. That's what I would always say as well. And having a last minute plan, even after it's too late for people to go to the shops or to order it to get delivered by a Royal Mail. Yeah, there's still ways to be able to get hold of those last minute digital sales.
Nice. Sell right up until the line. Okay, so final question for me, and then we can open up to anybody that wants to add anything. I would just love to know if you've got any insights into trends, for the rest of 2026, even going into 2027. What does strategies look like moving forward? If you have any insight.
Yeah, I mean, I went to a big gift card conference a few weeks ago, and interestingly, the UK market tends to follow the American market, and the American market on gifting is just nuts, and they do mega numbers, and people buy gift cards for everything over there. I think we're getting closer to that, and more people are starting to buy more gift cards for more occasion as the trust in gift cards rises. I mean, I saw all sorts of stuff, innovation stuff, which I think is a few years beyond next year coming to the UK, but people were pitching gift card vending machines and all sorts of interesting stuff that is pretty out there. That will print you a card and on demand in a shop somewhere with all your own messaging on. But I think the thing that we have to jump on, which is just more gifting occasions. This year, the first Lunar New Year card came out, and it just goes to show that gift card is now thinking about what every single opportunity that we can jump on to try and sell a gift card and put that into people, get that to people who might have been thinking about gifting in some way or other. So those occasions we talked about earlier on, like the Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation, those feel like the bare minimum and the basics for me now. There are more and more of those coming online. I think in the next year we're going to see more of that. Years ago we all used to go out every weekend and go for food and drink and nights out all the time. Now people want more experiences. They want to go out for special occasions. We need to create more special occasions, right? We're the marketers who can do that, and so therefore, what are the occasions we can try and help people to buy into, but also gift on and give to other people and celebrate and be part of that celebration with them. So yeah, that's how I'm seeing the next year growing.
Nice, very nice. Andre, thank you. That was really, really lovely. I really enjoyed it. Does anybody have any questions? No?
Yeah, I popped a couple in the chat. Thanks for that, Andrea and Holly. That was really good. Really informative presentation. I was just wondering, do we? I'm actually on my phone, so I couldn't entirely see the the details of some of the individual B2B companies. But do you find that you need to kind of delve in to get specific contacts within those companies, or are kind of, or can you get traction through generic? Kind of more generic approaches. So I couldn't actually see that. Yeah, so that was one question, and the other one's on Foodie Favourites. But let's handle that first.
Yeah, I mean, the Foodie Favourites is simple, Holly, right? That's something you can tell me really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
I think we're on it, but I'm not sure I'm seeing. Maybe this is one to take offline, but we're on it. But I'm not sure we're seeing traction yet, or whether we have to do test transactions, etc. But yeah, we've signed the contract, but I'm just not seeing volume as yet. To be interesting to discuss. But yeah,
I mean, obviously you're on Toggle, so we can definitely look at a little bit of a strategy for you as well. You're on Airship as well, aren't you, Noel?
Yeah.
We can. I mean, let's just get them that marketed out to let people know that you're on the One for All, because they're probably a percentage of your audience that have that at home.
Yeah.
So let's just make sure that people know that when they're coming into the venue, and even before they visit the venue. In terms of your first question.
Yeah. I can jump in. So one of the partners I work with will automatically put you in all of those. You don't need to know all those businesses. They will automatically put you across all those businesses, and that's the best way I found doing it in the past. So you do, maybe have a chat with me later, but the headline is you set your parameters of what you want, and then they will automatically go away and negotiate and have the portal that lists you in all those different places. I mean, you can obviously, if you really felt like you wanted to go to have 300 conversations with different partners, but that's quite a challenge and a lot of work.
Indeed.
But yeah, that's that. And part of the thing, I mean, I still don't know the names of all of them, but when I started doing this, it's just like it's an unknown world of there's so much out there, and you just have to be one of the listings in there to have a chance at getting the revenue.
For sure. No, that would be really appreciated to get some, because I definitely don't quite have the bandwidth for 300-second approaches. So, but thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'll send these slides over to everybody. I'll send some case studies of some customers that we've chatted about. We also had a report that was created by 125, which is really, really good. It's the Hospitality Tech Audit 2026. And it's really insightful. So if you haven't already seen that, I'll link that in the follow-up as well, which is just great to have a look at, and just different, partners in the tech world. Any last questions before we wrap it up? Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody, for hopping on. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Andre, and hopefully chat to you all soon. Have a brilliant day. Happy Thursday. Hope it's not raining where you are, and we will chat soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.